order the grounding of all Boeing 737 MAX aircraft.
This evidence, together with newly refined satellite data available to FAA this morning, led me to this decision.
Acting FAA Administrator Daniel Elwell says data indicates similarities between the Ethiopian crash and a 737 MAX crash in the Java Sea in October. Dozens of countries have already announced prohibitions on the Boeing 737 MAX model. Boeing, in a statement, says it has full confidence in the aircraft, but supports the FAA's decision. Lisa.
Jared, President Trump asked if he would pardon Paul Manafort, his former campaign manager, sentenced today on conspiracy charges.
I feel badly for him. I think it's a very sad situation.
Manafort was sentenced last week to 4 years in prison by a Virginia judge on conspiracy and other charges. He's also facing charges in multiple states. New York has already taken action against Manafort. Fox's Gernal Scott has that part of the story.
Lisa, Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr. says this indictment is the result of an investigation begun 2 years ago in a residential mortgage fraud scheme that brought in millions. In addition, Manafort is accused of conspiracy and falsifying documents. These charges could get Manafort up to 25 years in prison on convictions. Now, there is speculation that the charges were brought to guard against a possible pardon from President Trump that could absolve Manafort of federal charges. In a statement, DA Vance said no one is beyond the law in New York. Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. The Dow rose 148 points. The NASDAQ added 52. The S&P gained 19. This is Fox News.
Lent-friendly burgers at Chili's. Indulge in a selection of our famous burgers with the black bean patty. Black bean patties combine beans with onions, parsley, bell peppers, and cilantro. Served with dill pickles and fries. More Lenten entrees include the spicy shrimp tacos, Cajun pasta with shrimp, or grilled ancho salmon. Best of all, each entree is just $15 and comes with a refreshing Coca-Cola, iced tea, or Heineken on draft. Our fresh house salad with an entree for just $15. Chili's 3 for Me Lent menu. Available for a limited time. Chili's. More life happens here.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Their services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Actress Lori Loughlin in court this hour in Los Angeles on charges related to yesterday's arrest of dozens of people in connection with a college admissions fraud scam. A late winter storm pounding the plains in parts of the West. Blizzard warnings up in parts of Colorado where some people needed to brave the weather.
Our power went out a few hours ago, and we need to get gas for our generator so we still can be warm tonight. Yeah. And, we got to fill up our truck, too, so we don't get stuck.
In Wyoming, truck stops in the eastern part of the state are being used as refuges from the storm. Over 2,500 flights canceled due to the weather. In New Mexico, a tornado has injured 5 people in the tiny town of Dexter, ripping roofs and leaving a trail of debris as high winds continue to sweep through the area. Connecticut-based Purdue Pharma, the maker of OxyContin, says it's considering bankruptcy as one of several legal options as it faces hundreds of lawsuits over the opioid epidemic. The company issued the statement after comments made by its CEO to the Washington Post. The lawsuits claim the company aggressively sold OxyContin as a drug with low chance of triggering addictions, despite knowing that wasn't the case. The bankruptcy filing would likely pause the litigation. Reaction from both sides after California's governor announces he's putting death penalty sentences on hold.
Legal challenges have put the death penalty on hold in the state for a while, mostly because of the drug injection protocol used to execute people. Death Penalty Information Center Director Robert Dunham says botched executions resulted from states trying new drugs as pharmaceutical companies took other drugs off the market.
And they have adopted distribution policies that refuse to sell medicines to prisons.
Now, Michelle Hennessy is the head of the LA Association of Deputy District Attorneys.
I think it's somewhat shocking that the governor has chosen to completely bypass the laws enacted by the voter during the 2016 election.
Governor Newsom. That's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal reporting. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
If you have family or friends getting treatment right now at St. Luke's Medical Center in the Philippines, we want to connect with you. Hafaday, I'm Joe Guam. Thanks to our partners, we're bringing Mes Tsamoru to St. Luke's in Global City. I'll be playing a free show on March 29th from 2 to 4 p.m. in the St. Luke's Piano Lounge for all our Guamanians out there. All family members accompanying the patient are invited to join us, but seats are limited, so please tell your family to go to joeguam.com to register online and reserve your spot. This event is presented by Guam Windward Memorial. Special thanks to our affiliate partners, Stay Well Guam, Take Care Insurance, Guam Hearing Doctors, Lombard Health Eye Clinic, Guam Premier Outlets, and Coast 360. Our contributing partners, Moylan's Net Care and Data Management Resources. Our supporting partners, American Music, Fizz & Co., The Coconut Tree Company, Kadu Restaurant, and our promotional partner, The Point, Sidus Mosids, and Biba Mes Tsamoru.
I'm proud to be a Guamanian where America's day begins. And I can't forget the women and men who fought for my brown skin.
The stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2019 as National Earth Month with the return of our Upcycle Mascot Showdown. We've invited the public elementary schools to set the example and build their school mascots completely out of recyclable material. Stay tuned to our stations to see how you can vote for your favorite school this April. Celebrate Earth Month with our students in the 2019 Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Brought to you by the Agana Shopping Center, Lolita Kamet from Remax Diamond Realty, Sylvan Learning Center, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Jury selection for the trial of former Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio began in Superior Court yesterday. The court is looking for 6 jurors to hear the misdemeanor case. Tenorio telling local media yesterday that he's looking forward to the day before entering the courtroom. He is charged with a misdemeanor for grabbing a police officer's gun from behind during a barbecue street festival last year at a time when he was a candidate for governor of Guam. Tenorio's attorney, Tom Fisher, said his client feels good about the upcoming trial. Fisher maintains that his client did not commit a crime. No jury was seated yesterday. The selection process continues today. An object left on top of a trash bin that was first reported as found ordnance turned out to have been a training device used by the Guam Fire Department for instructional purposes. That, according to a release issued last night by the Guam Fire Department. The discovery of the device led to the evacuation of the Agate Marina and the closure of a portion of Route 2 on Tuesday, which tied up traffic in the area for more than 3 hours. Unfortunately, the release states the device was improperly disposed of by personnel during the cleaning of Rescue Base 2. Guam Police Department spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau telling reporters Tuesday morning that the device was discovered by a fireman who called 911 just before 8 a.m. to report what he'd seen. It's not clear why the fireman didn't recognize that it was a training device from his department. We apologize for the inconvenience caused to the community, states the release, and we will immediately address the issue internally to ensure accountability for the handling, storage, and disposal of all training aids, according to that Guam Fire Department statement. The 911 call triggered a massive response by officers from Guam Police, Guam Fire, a military bomb disposal unit, and agents from the FBI and Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms were also called to the scene on Tuesday. Coast Guard closed off the entrance to the marina. The Navy's explosive ordnance disposal team deployed a robot to examine the object. On a positive note, states the GFD release, the incident did provide an opportunity for the fire department to work alongside their partners together as a unified command. The statement concludes by commending all local and federal partners who, quote, contributed greatly to the success of this mission. We'll have more news after this.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
KFC KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
News time here at The Point is 10 minutes past 8 a.m. 3 of the 4 individuals arrested earlier this week on allegations of robbing tourists in Tumon were charged in Superior Court yesterday. 20-year-old Cleo Justine Barcenas Topazna, 18-year-old Sean Michael Quichicho, 19-year-old David Jesus Quichicho, and an unnamed male minor who was not in court. He's at the Department of Youth and Affairs. The magistrate complaint alleges that Tupazna and Sean and David Quichicho, along with that underage teen, conspired to threaten tourists along San Vitoris Road. The 4 are alleged to have brandished a knife and demanded money from both Japanese and Korean tourists on 3 separate occasions. Each time, states the report, the victims handed over cash in response to the threats and demands for money. In one of the robberies, the suspects also received a cell phone from one of the victims. Police were able to locate those suspects when the cell phone was used at a Tumon restaurant. Police viewed surveillance video from the restaurant, got a description from a restaurant employee, and that led to the arrests. According to the magistrate complaint, the 4 suspects told police they usually panhandled for money, but they decided to scare the tourists, hoping to get more money than they usually get by panhandling. The projected increase in tourism this year may soften earlier projections of negative growth for the island's economy in 2019, according to University of Guam economics professor Dr. Maria Ruane. Ruane delivered an updated assessment of the 2018 Guam Economic Report to Governor Lulian Guerrero and island business leaders during a luncheon at the Hyatt yesterday. The report was released in December. It projected a 0 to negative 0.5% decrease in the growth rate in 2018 and a decline of as much as 1% this year when all the final numbers are in. Tourism is starting to turn up, however, said Ruane in her presentation yesterday. And that can change my forecast, she said. She said she just might adjust that minus 1% upwards. However, when questioned following her presentation, Ruane spoke frankly about her long-term concerns about tourism. She said her biggest concern is the safety issue for tourists. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with weather.
All right, thanks very much. You'll be able to see the weather conversation on YouTube Live this morning. Normally it would be sent to Facebook Live, but there are some issues with Facebook. Some of your connectivity might be coming back, but so far, no joy on the third-party connectivity that allows us to do Facebook Live on The Ray Gibson Show. You can, however, watch us in our full glory and goodness, and oh my God, what color is that shirt, on YouTube Live or at thepoint.gu or on the Guam Daily Post website. Partly cloudy today with isolated showers. Winds coming out of the east, I believe, 15 to 20 miles an hour, decreasing a bit on the overnight. We can expect highs around 87 degrees and overnight lows should be about 76 degrees. They had sunset last night about 6:31. We'll have sunset tonight about 6:31 and some killer views at night. I don't know if you've been catching any of the sunsets lately. The colors, again, have just been incredible this time of year.
Yeah, and it's really nice. The sun's at that good angle, and we actually, you have some volcanic activity over in the Indonesian islands, and it just kind of always happens that way, but sometimes it'll throw a little stuff up in the air and makes it more colorful for us to see.
Absolutely.
So nice.
Absolutely. Some great days and sunsets and sunrises ahead, and here's the weather radar on YouTube Live this morning, so you can get an idea of what the weather's going to be like for the next couple hours.
Yeah, it looks like one cluster of showers that was kind of coming our way fizzled out just a bit. Rhoda about to get a few showers, but sun drying things out a little bit as we're kind of in the in-between here, between some moisture that's coming up from what is a very weak tropical disturbance, 95W to our southeast, and also a shear line approaching from the northwest, and then we've got just the general trade wind flow and some of the moisture associated with that as well. So we're kind of right in the middle of all of it. You can see One way you can tell is that it's kind of like a triangle of clouds. So we're just kind of at the apex of that triangle, and that'll start to go away as these trade winds move on in over the next couple of days. What we'll see for the next 24 hours, just isolated showers, warm temperatures. Winds will kick up just a little bit, but really nothing too serious to worry about. Should be nice.
8:14 in the morning, 8:15. That's news and weather together here for you on The Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Quarter after 8 o'clock in the morning, 888-8255, 888-8255 is the telephone number for the Ray Gibson Show, being brought to you here this morning by Security Title. If you've got some complex real estate transactions, trust me, Ron and Kim and the team have seen it all, and we'll walk you through it. APL is shipping the future of Micronesian renewable energy. There's never been a better time to go solar, and Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your specialty care needs. You're going to be hungry later on today. Swing by the nearest King's and enjoy. You know, they've always got great menus going on at King's. They got the crazy menu, but because it's Lent, they've asked me to talk about their Lenten menu. All my holy roller friends are eating at King's these days because they've got seafood just everywhere, parrotfish and salmon, and they're doing some crazy things with shrimp there. So I want you to try that as well. Maybe you're thinking, you know, I want something that's a little bit more in line with my Filipino background, and I'm a Pinoy, and I'm wondering if they have bangos. They're the milkfish. And the answer is yes. There is milkfish waiting for you over at the King's. The GCC Votech Class of 79 is back. Join them on April 27th at the Onward Beach Hotel for a night of dinner, dancing, skits, and reminiscing. It's been 40 years since graduation, so take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime chance to relive the memories. There's also a memorial mass on Friday, the 25th, at the Santa Teresita Church. Be there at 5:30 for candle placement in honor of classmates who've gone before. Tickets for the reunion on the 27th are on sale for $40 a person. For details, find Connie Kittigwa St. Nicholas at 488-6108 or Kathy Diaz, 777-3243. Viva 79ers! All right, just a couple more people that I want to recognize as being big supporters of the program. My friends over at Take Care Insurance, and they're going to be in early next week talking about colorectal cancer and prevention, discovery, if maybe we need something that we need to look for, and treatment thereof. That's all ahead next week with Take Care. Cars Plus with Joey and Jen and Dunge and a whole bunch of other people, big in the community and big in supporting community events. I was telling you a little bit earlier about how they're going to be lined up to once again host the Guam is Good Wine, Food, and Art Festival. In fact, Jen's going to be in the studio tomorrow talking about some of the other things that her and her mom are working out to stay close to the community and do good for the community. So find out more with a quick visit to Cars Plus. Nanbo Insurance is offering you ways that you might be able to bundle up everything that is in your line. So if you've got home, car, work, auto, things like that you need to take care of and make sure that they can be easily replaced, Nanbo has got a plan that could save you up to 50%. And finally, North Pacific Filet, the cod filet. I had one last night.
By the way, I just want to say this. I had a list, and this got nothing to do with nothing except for what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what turns, many things turn 50 this year. You know what one of them is? Wendy's.
Wendy's is 50.
Turns 50. sometime this year.
Wow.
But yeah, so I read that somewhere that things turning 50 this year. Sesame Street. Mm-hmm. Some other things.
I was actually at a restaurant with some friends for a little bit last night, and they said, "You want to get something?" I'm like, "No." I said, "Well, then you're not going to eat dinner." I said, "I'm going to eat dinner. I'm heading over to Wendy's when I'm done. I'm going to go to Wendy's because they have the North Pacific cod fillet, and I had that with not because it's Lent. I had it because I like the sandwich, but I also they had the Dave's. No, it was a Baconator.
Oh yeah,
and a Baconator 2, and
Son of Baconator.
No, you know what? I thought I ordered the Son of Baconator, and I was so happy when it came out, and there were 2 patties, so I got the full deal. But I also got a bowl of chili.
Oh,
yes. I mean, that's just sitting on the porch, and it was so cool last night. And crumbling the crackers into my chili. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Wendy's hit Houston back in the 70s, and of course, I was a teenager. You can imagine how all the juvenile comments about Wendy's hot and juicy.
I'm going to leave it there. It's 8:19.
Real Talk Radio is back. Welcome to The Point, Guam's FM News Talk Superstation.
the thing is, you know, the people, they might hear it in your voice, but they'll say, did you hear what Ray Gibson said? That's what's going to happen.
But it was their slogan.
I know it was their slogan.
They're true to it.
I'm a Beavis and Butthead kind of guy. I'm the guy that was sitting around giggling every time, you know, I'd get somebody from the police department saying, suspicious package.
Oh, I thought you were going to use duty.
Oh, can you? What was it? Where's the apology? I have it in front of me, right? I got the paperwork in front of me because I was going through all of this stuff and during the newscast and looking for other stories that I haven't really touched on. But the idea that there was this device. Suspicious package over at the marina. Here's the comment from the fire department. Unfortunately, it was an improperly disposed of by personnel during the cleaning of Rescue Boat 2, according to a GFT statement. After receiving the call, our procedures and protocols for dealing with live ordnance were initiated, which included the evacuation of the marina and the community, activation of the emergency response agencies. We apologize for the inconvenience caused to the community and will immediately address the issue internally to ensure accountability for the handling, storage, and disposal of all training aids of the Guam Fire Department. How about the accountability for screwing up everybody's day for 4 hours, right? I mean, the businesses and people that could not get to work, they could not punch in if they were stuck in traffic. So what about those guys that lost 2 or 3 hours waiting or having to go the long way around?
I happened to fill up with gas right next to that boat and training crew as they were headed towards the training. But little did I know that I was looking at an infamous story in the making.
Now this thing was viral. The image. Everybody that's got WhatsApp on their phone, I can almost guarantee, unless you're a hermit, unless you are just completely unloved and nobody likes you, and maybe this is how you know if nobody likes you. If the image of this cell phone on top of the pretend Simtex on the trash can or whatever that container was, if that's not on your cell phone, nobody loves you. But I guarantee it's on virtually everybody's cell phone. And there's got to be everybody at the fire department had to get a copy of it.
Oh, yeah.
So why didn't somebody say, oh, that's mine?
Well, because
oh, my God, I took that out. I took that out of the thing, and now it's there.
Because the whole fire department took blame.
So everybody took blame for one guy's deal. I'm just saying, why didn't somebody needs to own up to that?
That's what I'm saying. See, what they would do
you remember the guy in Hawaii that pressed the button that said that the nukes were coming? You remember
I ever?
You remember that story? So it's the same thing. It's the same thing that's happened. And we got a guy out there that knows he's responsible for leaving this dummy device on the trash bin.
See, if there's a group,
it might have been a prank.
It might have been some kind of. Well,
and it was a fireman that called 911. What was he doing there? Was he on duty?
Was he the guy? I mean, and why wouldn't a fireman know what that is? I mean, do everybody get to train on this? I mean, I'm not. I know there's a whole bunch of new guys out there. Maybe, but somebody has got to figure out which rookie noob pulled this stunt and come out and say it.
We'll never know. And if it was Survivor, the group would take the blame, and then when they get back to camp, they would vote that person out.
That scene from Full Metal Jacket, right, where everybody gets like a combination lock and puts it in a towel and whacks the guy.
What was that guy's name? The main guy? I forget his name.
I'm sorry. What a great movie that was. It's 8:23. All right, so it's time for Sports with Blake. Apologize for any inconvenience this radio broadcast causes you.
And on behalf of my deep state employer, people don't know I'm a double agent for broadcaster by day, Facebook informant by night.
What happened?
Facebook. This is, before we get to sports, this is, because I know everybody's having the same issue.
We're not on Facebook Live this morning. We're on YouTube. We're always on YouTube Live and Facebook Live, but I can't, they're the third-party connections, the socket's not working.
Well, this morning when I woke up here, immediately went to Instagram, as I sometimes do, and it was just giving me the little spin. Well, it seems Facebook relied on Twitter to explain that its apps were experiencing outages around the world. Some users on Facebook and other platforms like Instagram and WhatsApp, if you are here, I couldn't send a comment on Facebook. I couldn't send a picture on WhatsApp, and I can't even get my feed to load on Instagram.
I was trying to send a couple of pictures. I did pictures of Mason, with the MVP thing and both of the newspapers. I was going to send that out to folks this morning, and all I got was the clock.
Oh
Yes.
my,
wasn't
what
sending.
do we do without social media?
Yeah, you're right.
I had to remember how to attach pictures to email. It's how I eventually sent them out.
No big deal for me, but just letting everybody know the outages began Wednesday afternoon. They appeared to affect people in multiple areas around the world, including U.S., Central and South America, and Europe, and obviously here in the Pacific. And Facebook said, we are aware that some people are currently having trouble accessing the Facebook family of apps. We're working to resolve this issue as soon as possible, despite some early online rumors that the outages were a result of distributed denial of service attacks.
Ooh,
which
DDoSes.
Yes, which is, if you don't know, an attack, a type of hack in which attackers flood a company's network. Facebook said in another tweet, this issue is not related to DDoS attacks, which makes me think it is related to DDoS attacks.
Right.
Frankly, I want my subscription money refunded.
Right. Okay. Can I get a credit on not being able to put Facebook Live on today? I don't know. 888-8255 is my number. Hey, Mark.
Hey, okay, I can tell you why nobody owned up to it right away.
Okay.
You remember, they're on 24-hour shifts, so the shift the day before got off at 8 in the morning. That's the guy who put it on top of there, and he went home and went to sleep.
And then he woke up to a social media storm and was like, I have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows that?
Who was that chick that did that where she tweeted out and then got on a plane, and when she landed, her life was over? Justine Saswika was Sasasio or whatever, the chick that, do you remember that? Yeah.
So it's one of those things. But this guy's got to come forward. I mean, is it just for no other reason, right? I mean, just stand on it, just take the hit. Come out and say, I'm really, really sorry. It was at the end of a long shift, and we were doing our training, and it's just one of those things that got by me, and I'm sorry for all of the inconvenience that I caused everybody.
I got a note, so I got the name. We got to find our private pile in GFD. Thank you to Mikey Sablon for giving me the private pile name from Full Metal Jacket.
Right,
that was the
that's
guy.
the guy.
Yeah, so we got to find GFD's private pile.
So somebody, because I'm trying to, but the other guys, I mean, there were other fire department guys, right? So why didn't, I mean, were they not allowed to get close enough to take a look at it and say, dude, I think that's one of ours. I think that's one of ours.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, no, because everybody on the ship was off, but then you're right. Someone would have known, but maybe no one knew they cleaned out the boat. So, I don't know.
Makes sense.
So it must be some rookie guy, right? Because who else would they? I mean, they're not going to ask captains to clean the boat.
They did what the Ghostbusters said never to do. They got their streams crossed, is what it seems like. Don't cross the streams.
Crazy times. All right, Marcus, I'll talk to you pretty soon. You got the telephone number. Call me if you need me. I see my classmate, Ray Lynette, is online. Good morning, Ray.
Yeah, I was walking out of the jungle when I heard you talk about 6 days of supplies of food.
That came from one of my operatives, one of my intel gatherers, who says in the event of the big bright flash, what will happen is there's enough food on Guam in the stores, on the shelves, in people's homes to keep us alive for 6 days, and then after that we will all start raiding each other's houses. There'll be raiding parties that will go from the different villages, probably up into places like Jonestown, Barragata Heights, Paris Acres, and go get food from the pudgy people.
It might alleviate the stray chicken and dog problem, too.
Oh, the stray chickens would be wiped out in seconds.
You got to be.
So, but you believe that there is a limitless supply.
Yeah, did you see that? Yeah.
I saw that. I saw the picture of a deer that you dispatched.
Just about 30 minutes ago, so I believe I have unlimited supply because I fish, I hunt, I garden, I collect water.
So when the bright flash comes, we'll make you the chief.
No, I'm going to defend myself because, I know guys like you are going to come over.
You just went on the radio and said that you know how to get, so if you're either going to be the chief or you're going to be somebody's slave.
Oh, I don't know, but I like doing what I do, so,
No. And I encourage that. I encourage that kind of thing. I'm not going to go full prepper on you this morning. I might do that one of these days. But everybody needs to think in terms of the possibility that there is going to be some kind of cataclysm, maybe in our lifetime, and prepare our children for the inevitable event in their lifetime.
Well, the invitation is open for you. I told you on the air that I'll take you out hunting or fishing.
I don't want to go with you. I want to go with Jane.
Okay. I wonder if she's listening.
Jane always listens. That's man, let's go with the guys. I don't want to go with hunting with the guys. I want to go hunting with the girls, especially that when she's trained for it.
No, I'm training her.
Yeah, okay, all right. Listen, I gotta let you run. I gotta pretend to talk about Blakefoot sports for at least a couple of minutes. I'll see you soon, Ray. Have a goodie. A note here. I'm going to hand this to Kevin Kerrigan because I think it's an interesting story. There's divernet.com on the World Wide Web, and there was a story that they've done here on Guam about a lady named Julie Hartup, and her nickname is Manta Mom. She's apparently studied and knows everything there is to know about manta rays, where we can find them, feeding habits, breeding habits, and things like that here on Guam.
She hooked up somehow with Octomom. They study manta rays and octopus together?
I couldn't tell you, but that's of wide circulation there, and there might be more than one or two people that will be interested in that story as well. In allied sports, kind of, sort of. I mean, there's as much of a big deal made for a victory in this category as there is in sports categories. Ugadoo Bulldogs have apparently won the high school division in the mock trials at the judiciary.
Really?
Congratulations.
Wow.
They beat Academy.
Wow.
They beat Academy, and the Academy beat Notre Dame. So I mean, it is a big deal. So if you're a parent of students at Ugadoo, congratulations.
Congratulations. There'll be some lawyers coming out of that school soon enough.
Oh,
right?
well, that's the downside, I guess.
Maybe not for them. They make money.
Kind of the downside in my mind. But anyway, do you have any sports?
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah, I'll just do this one. The St. John. I don't have time to get in the other one. Because I want to save it. We'll do it tomorrow for Friday fun. I got a story about a baseball pitcher who threw out his back cooking. Yeah. You want to do that one?
No. Go ahead with the
local. The St. John's School Knights Red Girls Beach Volleyball. The doubles team of Tylee Shepard and Hallie Wigston finished off a perfect season. They won the championship in the sports IIAG inaugural season this week as they beat kind of themselves. The talented Knights duo knocked off fellow Knights Red teammates Yasmin Lopez and Kristen Serrano in 2 sets, 21-17 and 21-6, as St. John had 2 teams in the tournament. And here's the thing, Chris Shepard, the St. John's athletic director, he helped spearhead this whole thing, beach volleyball, and he expects to see greater participation in 2020. He also said that, get this, a boys' league may get folded into the mix. I would definitely like to continue this, he said, as far as boys' leagues go, or as far as the boys' leagues go. People have asked, and we will see where it fits in. I think beach volleyball is definitely a positive sport for Guam. So good thing for Shep and for the local youths who want to continue playing volleyball in a different way. And why haven't we done beach volleyball? It's Guam, So
and
nice to see it finally rolling.
Beach here.
Yeah, nice to see the balls finally rolling.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
No. No, you don't have to. It's okay. I don't need your pity.
And finally, and this is there's this not a story. It's a kind of a notice about an event that's going to be taking place tomorrow, and I'm annoyed because it has absolutely no contact information or any way to find out if you and I can join it, or even to call in and get more information. The Ultimate Warrior Challenge will take place tomorrow between 9 and noon. It's a team race facing physical and mental obstacles in Taragi's natural beach and jungle terrain. The event will be held in Anderson Air Force Base in Jigo.
Taragi.
How do I participate? I am capable of taking on mental and physical challenges.
You probably just get on base. That's it. Just show up to
Taragi. I don't have a real ID.
Oh, you really need a real ID to get on base?
Yeah, or a passport. Isn't that the deal?
Or a sponsor? It doesn't just work with the sponsor?
I don't even know about the sponsor stuff. I mean, do they still have the trusted traveler thing?
I think it's in April next month is when that begins. But yeah, you got to have a real ID
and I didn't
or a
get
passport.
One.
Yeah.
I have a fake ID, but it's real for Guam, but it's not. It's I guess not outside of there. I didn't have the birth certificate.
All right, and leading into headlines in a second, got this from Major Blas from the Guard. Please advise the public not to be alarmed or panicked if they hear the sound of gunshots near St. Anthony School and the other schools in Tamuning this afternoon. Funeral honors will be rendered. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, LT Josh Tenorio, and Lieutenant Colonel Esther Agagi among others, are honoring specialist Mickey Hart as her body was received by her family when she arrived on Guam last Friday afternoon. So, again, they're going to be a final viewing will be held today at St. Anthony Church in Tamuning. Immediately following the mass final funeral honors will be rendered to Specialist Hart, which will include a 21-gun salute. So if you're in the area and you're thinking that we've got an active shooter maybe around the schools, not. It's all going to be in full funeral honors for Specialist Hart.
I'll try to
21 gun
record
salute.
that from my place if I'm there.
It should be interesting.
Have you ever seen a 21-gun salute?
I have.
Been to a funeral? Yeah, my uncle was a police officer.
Scared the hell out of me.
Killed in duty, and it's a very powerful moment, especially when you're standing up there at the funeral. It's just because you feel good, but at the same time you're sad for your loved one, but it is a nice tribute. So
Well,
that's cool.
when you don't know it's coming is when it all of a sudden pow and
even when you do know it's coming, you can't time it out. It still jolts you. The first feel
But
jolts you.
nothing gets me like the missing man formation.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Hey, listen, it's 8:34. That's all the time we got to pretend to talk about sports. Blake Watson's going to be back tomorrow morning. If you love what you're hearing, then we do this every single day here on 93.3 The Point. We also do headlines with Kevin Kerrigan. That's next.
Looking for a great deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Then get to Cars Plus in Mighty now for our spring sales event. Like a new Jeep Compass Sport, $166 per paycheck. Or a new Chrysler Pacifica LX, $220 per paycheck. Or save $8,500 on a new Ram 1500. How about a new Jeep Wrangler Sport? Only $274 per paycheck. Low 1.99% financing is available on approved credit. Save thousands during our spring sales event going on now at Cars Plus in Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Yay, Major Josephine Blush said, "Oh, thanks, I heard it. Great show." Hey, I appreciate that. 888-8255 is the phone number. Lots of stuff to talk about today. A lot of interesting stuff. And if you have nothing to talk about, if you're going, I don't know, I don't want to chime in on coronal mass ejections in call centers, well, maybe there's something in the newscast that you might want to call in. For details, here's Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post.
Have a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, the Japanese visitor market continues to rebound, but South Korean tourist arrivals dipped last month, according to the latest report from the Guam Visitors Bureau. The Japanese arrivals increased 25% in February compared with the same month last year. South Korean visitor arrivals, however, fell 2% over the same period. Typhoon Wu-Tip is blamed in part for the decline in Korean arrivals. It caused 25 flight cancellations from February 23rd through the 24th, and that resulted in the loss of 4,993 seats from Japan that month. Arrivals for February reaching 137,244 visitors in all, and that made it the second best February in Guam's tourism history. Jury selection for the trial of former Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio began in Superior Court yesterday. The court's looking for 6 jurors to hear the misdemeanor case. Tenorio told local media on his way into the courtroom yesterday that he's looking forward to it. He's charged with a misdemeanor for grabbing a police officer's gun from behind during a barbecue street festival last year at a time when he was a candidate for governor of Guam. Tenorio's attorney, Tom Fisher, said his client feels good about the upcoming trial. Fisher maintains that his client did not commit a crime. Yet another sexual abuse lawsuit has been filed against the Archdiocese of Agana and the now dead priest Louis Brouillard and former Boy Scout leader Edward Pereira, who's also dead. The civil complaint was filed by a man using the initials RFM to protect his identity. RFM is a former altar boy and Boy Scout. He alleges he was sexually abused back in 1964 when he was 11 years old while on church grounds and during Boy Scout outings, abused by Pereira and Father Brouillard, he alleges. The lawsuit seeks $5 million in damages. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 8:38. Are you happy? Are you happy? You think you might be happier somewhere else. You think maybe there's greener grass elsewhere. They've come out, Wallet Hub has come out with the 10 happiest cities. I'll tell you where they are after I remind you about iConnect time. 888-8888 is their telephone number. You might also find them on the World Wide Web at iConnectGuam.com. Check them out and learn about the great telecommunications products and procedures they've got for you. Internet, mobile, push-to-talk. They can combine all three at great rates at iConnect.
In 1972, Jesus S. Leon Guerrero pictured a brighter future for our island and its people. With the trust and support of the community, he founded Bank of Guam. In celebration of our 47th anniversary, we're offering a Founders Day loan for up to $50,000, as low as 4.70 annual percentage rate up to 72 months. Visit any branch or bankofguam.com for more information. Subject to bank's lending criteria, terms and conditions apply. Offer valid until March 29, 2019. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
I'm going to go call those guys because that sounds like a great plan, great rates. In 20 minutes, it'll be 9 o'clock in the morning. And what was I going to tell you about? Oh, a lunch at Subway because it's Lent. And everybody, I got to say, that's one of my favorite things about living here is when it gets to be Lenten time, everybody tries to outdo each other with their different Lenten seafood offerings. And Subway's definitely contenders here because they've got that shrimp and guacamole. Now, you can have shrimp and guacamole on just about any kind of bread you want to over there, although I suspect, being somewhat culturally and culinarily aware, that if you have it in wrap form, that'd be great. I mean, imagine you basically roll the thing up with all your favorite ingredients, but we start with shrimp and guacamole. Got to try it one way or the other at Subway.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training every morning on The Ray Gibson Show.
Hi, I'm Jerry Roberts, and every day I get to comment on the incredibly diverse, fun, challenging, sometimes frustrating, often exciting, but always interesting world of work. I hope you'll be there with us.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts. Brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
I got you. 20 away from the top of the hour. 888-8255. 888-8255. Let me just take a quick look at the traffic gizmo. Yeah, that's right. We're a radio station that doesn't want to waste any more time and fuel and people time than we need to. So it's easy to just use technology to find out where the traffic is. And the traffic is right now, let me see, around the intersection of Route 16 and the Micronesia Mall there at, it's at the Harmon... Fatima Mobile. That's exactly what I'm trying to say here. So watch out for traffic through there. Might be slowing down northbound, but I don't see too much affecting southbound traffic right now. 8, 10, and 16, not so bad. Nothing major happening on Route 10. Nothing major happening on Route 4. Looks like we've made it alive. We survived the drive into town. Isn't that nice? 841, and that's right now traffic here on The Point.
Okay, I think it's coming up soon.
Yeah, we're in Route 1 and near the airport intersection, right?
There, see it? What's the keyword? Look for the keyword.
Check out the Vantage Digital Billboard and reap the rewards. Catch the keyword on the screen and get a free Americano or tea with menu purchase when you mention the keyword at your next visit to the Hive. Conditions may apply.
Did you see it?
You got it. I got it. You just focus on driving.
Take advantage today and take a look at Vantage Advertising's digital billboard located on Route 1 at the airport intersection.
In the morning, the happiest cities in America. You can go to, where is this now? Wallet Hub, which is a personal finance kind of appy program thing. I don't know. I'm not into it because I don't care about keeping track of my finances. It just, there's money at the end of the pay period. I'm happy. What's that? The credit card didn't get declined at Moses. Good. We're in good shape then. That's what makes me happiest here. But according to a survey that they conduct, they look at all kinds of things, employment rates, unemployment rates, amount of green space that they've got in there, and all of that stuff. I'll go from the top 10 because that's what I've got. Although I'm surprised that this makes the top 10. Considering some of the things that I see on Twitter and Facebook about San Francisco, California, number one, probably one of the most expensive American cities that there are. San Francisco in such a lousy shape these days that it's everything is driven by service economy, right? And you got all these people in Silicon Valley that have gone in there, and plus all of the people that just want to live in San Francisco, California, because it's San Francisco, and so you've got all these, but nobody can you go to a restaurant, nobody can afford the service people can't afford to live there,
right?
So you got restaurants that are closing down literally because they can't find help. Isn't that amazing? They're at number 10 on the list. Scottsdale, Arizona, is at number 9. I've known a bunch of people that have crossed my life and over the years that are from Scottsdale, Arizona, and as great as Guam is, and they're among the first to tell you, I love Guam, but one of these days I got to get back to Scottsdale. It's just one of those kind of communities that it's great to live in.
It's just so hot. My daughter lives in the Phoenix area.
Does she?
So, yeah.
All right, try that. San Jose, California.
Yes, well, that's basically San Francisco.
Do you know
Same
the way
thing.
that's right. That's not too far away from each other. This one surprised me because based on what I saw in the movie and the TV show, it's called Fargo, North Dakota.
They're getting rich up there, man, with the oil.
Is that what's
Oh,
happening?
it's huge, yeah. And plus, I believe there's no state income tax. Wages are still kind of in that, because it's been a very low population, so they don't, they're not really what you call up to speed on this high wages thing. So you can actually still pay people to work in the restaurants and other things. Not sure how long that'll last.
Huntington Beach, California comes in at number 5.
Where is that? That's down in the L.A. area, right?
Couldn't tell you. You know what? I know nothing about the
I'm
States.
not a Cali guy. I'm not a Cali guy. I mean,
ask my sister. Shelley knows everything about California.
actually, when you're born in Texas, you have to sign a letter that says you will never, ever like California.
Oh, that's so.
Yeah, that's absolutely
perfect.
true.
Okay. So Huntington Beach at number 5, Fremont, California at number 4.
What is with all these California places?
I have no idea.
California is like the most expensive place in the world to live, and okay, California weather, yes, it's usually pretty good, but man, I don't know.
This one here.
That's my bias is showing.
No, that's okay. That's all right. This one here, for no other reason, because of its proximity to what I consider to be some great beer, Madison, Wisconsin.
There you go. I've always thought Wisconsin, in general, would be a pretty cool place to live.
Right. So you got Madison, Wisconsin, and there you got to be what do you got to be, a Packer fan?
Yeah, that
generally.
helps. It helps,
okay.
yeah.
And number 2, Irvine, California. Another California. What do they get? 5 out of the top 5?
They're paying
out of the top 10?
somebody.
Yeah, that's got to be it. But you'll be pleased with number 1.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Plano, Texas.
Oh, okay, up in the Dallas area.
Do you know it?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it about?
I mean, our man on 101 would know more about it. But Plano, yeah, Dallas
he'd know
area.
everything about it.
Yeah, absolutely. He probably has friends that live there. I have some friends that live close by. Dallas area, but once again, you got Texas, a state without a state income tax, where generally speaking, taxes are fairly low, and the economy is picking up all across the state. It's really diversified over the past 30 or 40 years, so that's probably a pretty cool place.
All right, the 3 key dimensions for which they choose the happiest places are emotional and physical well-being, income and employment, and community in the environment. So among a number of other indicators ranging from depression rate to income growth, they found that Plano, about a half-hour drive north of Dallas, solid scores in all 3 dimensions, a 7th place ranking in emotional and physical well-being, 6th place ranking in income and employment, and 8th place ranking in community and environment. It would be fun, I think, for somebody, and I'm not going to volunteer you, and I know I'm too lazy to do it myself, but it would be interesting if you get somebody like a bunch of kids, econ kids over at the University of Guam, and have them do compare and contrast, Guam and Plano, Texas.
Oh, there you go.
What are the major industries that go on in Plano, Texas? What is it that they're doing there that provides people the jobs that give them, in addition to a happy career life and work lifestyle, also allows them a recreational lifestyle to keep the depression down, keep the physical activity up? What is it that they're doing there?
I think it's all snacks. See,
Is it?
Plano is the home of Frito-Lay.
You can't be unhappy around Frito-Lay.
Fritos, Cheetos, everywhere.
No, it's impossible.
See?
You just open a bag of any chips.
Yeah.
Open a bag of any chips and you're instantly happy.
And they make them all. Just think,
Like Lay's potato chips?
Yes, absolutely.
Like Lay's the vinegar and salt one?
No, the barbecue.
I had to say vinegar and salt to see if it had the effect on me, and it sure did. I'm salivating now thinking about it, and I got a big smile on my face while I'm talking about it. Hey, it's 8:47 in the morning, and so that's what it is. Dig it out. Or just for fun, think about this in your head. What would it take for Guam to get on that list? I mean, just think about it, right? How do we get ourselves on that list? What are some of the things that we would have to do to make people around here universally happier with each other? And I think it's an important question. I really do. We do have some problems around here, and I don't know where they all stem from. But there just seems to be a kind of a malaise, especially among our young people. And I tell you what, this is we go from someplace happy into a rather serious conversation. But I've been looking at the magistrate reports here and looking at, it's always interesting to me when I see somebody who is, around my age getting in trouble for, kind of street crime activities. That's always weird to me because I always figure by the time you get to be about 40, 45-ish, all of that crazy in your head had to be replaced by something. If you might still be crazy, but you got a wife or a husband that is preventing more of the craziness, right? Because it's just, look, we got kids, you just can't be crazy anymore. We have responsibilities. We have to go to church every Sunday. But there's, in my mind, as I'm looking around here, I start to see a growing number of young people that are getting in trouble. There's a story that will go. We'll see if I can go 3, 2, 1 on this. 3 young people got busted in a bunch of incidents involving threats to tourists with a knife, muggins. Cleo Justine Barcinas Topasnia, David Jesus Kitsitsu, Sean Michael Kitsitsu, and a male minor sibling of David and Sean Kitsitsu. So that's 4 people conspired to threaten tourists for money along Route 14 near the Hambros. 3 separate incidents were reported by victims and witnesses of 3 males demanding money and brandishing a knife. The victims were Japanese and Korean tourists. 3 males, and each time the victims gave cash in response to the threats and demands for money. In one of the robberies, the suspect also took a cell phone and a credit card. The card they tried to use at the subway down the street. GPD Robbery Task Force was able to intercept this quartet, a quartet of crime. Identified by restaurant employees in surveillance videos, the persons using the credit card of one of the victims. The victims of the robbery were also able to proceed to Subway and identify the suspects as the persons who robbed them. Now, the cops sit down, I guess, presumably at the Subway with this quartet of crime and interviewed them, and they stated, quote, they're usually panhandlers who stand on the street asking for money. I would normally not underscore a trivial piece in a magistrate's report, but today I want to highlight this. The suspects were interviewed by police and stated that they are usually panhandlers who often stand on the street asking for money. If there was ever a clearer indication that the panhandlers that salt themselves among Guam's busiest roadways and busiest intersections are not the people that they say they are not suffering the conditions and the societal wounds that they claim to be suffering, it's this. These people are usually panhandlers looking for somebody, preying on our good nature and maybe a little bit of survivor's guilt. Hey, I got it, okay? But, oh, look at those people. Look, there's a teenager there. There's a little kid, teenager. Needs some kind of medical help, needs to eat, needs to buy hygiene supplies or whatever. What a bunch of scammers. They admitted that they're usually panhandlers. That's how they normally make their take. But in this case, they wanted more. They got greedy. So they all decided to scare the tourists for money in the hopes of getting more than normal. During one incident, a tourist gave him $50 after being threatened and seeing the knife. Afterwards, the guys followed the tourist and demanded even more money. What it ain't for real what we're seeing on the intersections. And we need to there needs to be signs. You know, the same way I want to say at Yosemite, they got signs that say, please don't feed the bears. It will make them dependent on human handouts. It's the same thing. Don't give in to these guys. I know it's hard. I know it's. Thank God for cell phones. When you see some of these knuckleheads walking up to you on the street corners, walking up and down illegally, I might point out, on the medians on the roadways, asking for dough from you. If you got a cell phone, at least you got something that you can look at. So you don't have to feel guilty as they peer into your car through the tint, looking to see if you're going to roll down the window and give them some of the ashtray change. I'm just saying, there's no clear indication, and I would hope that the new chief of police, I would hope that the new chief executive officer of the government of Guam, Lulian Guerrero, might read something like this and just finally, with exasperation, say, we're cleaning up the medians. We're getting rid of these people. Maybe that's one of the things. And maybe that will contribute to the rest of our overall happiness around here, is not having to see. I'm all for helping people that need help. I'm all for that. I'm crazy about that, and I support every department and agency and civic organization that wants to find ways that we can get these people off of the medians and work. But if they don't want to work, then go find something else to do than hang out on the medians and try to messy us out of our hard-earned dough. So we got that story. That's one of the other stories. There's this story here, and I don't know whether you would categorize her as young. I understand that she's like 29 years old. Is 29 still young? Is that reasonably young? Okay. So along with my foolish.
Yeah, basically, I have kids that are older than that. If they're younger than my kids,
then they're young. Okay, because read a book. Pam's saying read a book. See, now it's even on YouTube. This is like it's shiny. I'm getting a shiny moment. I'm trying to talk about crime around here and how we seem to have more young people participating in criminal activities. This one here is just ridiculous because it involves somebody trying to get methamphetamine from the outside to an inmate from the Department of Corrections who happens to be at the Lighthouse Recovery Center. There's something wrong with this. There's something wrong with this. Where are we sending our people to go and get off the drugs? To Lighthouse. And thank God there are people over at the Lighthouse that are a little bit more observant. This woman says, I need to drop off shoes to my friend. She's one of the inmates. And I guess everything is lax. So somebody said, yeah, you know what? The inmate's going to be over at Lighthouse. Take the shoes over there, and somebody from Lighthouse will give them the shoes. So that transpired, and sure enough, somebody from Lighthouse that's smarter than the average bear, thank God, obviously maybe not somebody that's not on ice, got the shoes and says, wow, these don't look like they're going to be the right size for your friend.
Now, can you imagine what the size differential must have been for them to even notice that? I mean, that's just not something you would notice right off.
How much ice can you pack in the heel of a shoe?
See, so they weigh. So evidently, this person in there wears like a size 5, and they probably brought in a size 12
because it had a big boot, so you could put all kinds of ice in there. This is the disconnect in people's heads. So what I want to know is, okay, so we got the girl, 29-year-old Gianna. Right? We got her for what she was. They busted her possession of Schedule II controlled substance with intent to delivery, promoting major prison contraband. So Gianna is probably going to be next to go into the jailhouse. But the question that I have is the intended receiver of this now, who apparently masterminded this scheme. Somebody masterminded this criminal venture to make it so that Gianna could smuggle in ice into the prison via the heel of a shoe.
Now, it was in
Who is that person? Because as far as I'm concerned, their drug court privileges, over. Sorry, the full weight of your sentence now applies because you're a screwhead.
Here's what I have to wonder, though. Okay, this was a drug recovery center, drug treatment center,
yes.
Right? Now, was the person who was getting the ice there because of a legal issue with drugs, or had they voluntarily turned themselves into this organization to try to clean up?
They're an inmate. No, they were an inmate. They'd already been convicted. But
okay. I'm just trying to get my head
we've got
around.
the drug court thing, and we'll go through this again in May when we have the judicial guys come in.
Right.
And normally the idea is, look, we recognize you've got a problem. You recognize you got a problem, and we'll, rather than send you to jail, what we prefer to do here is see if we can get some counseling, some interdiction, and bring you in this Lenten season closer to Jesus, closer to God. And so we're going to send you to the lighthouse, and they'll talk to you about methods and means that you may use to rid yourself of this devil scourge that is ice. But it doesn't work when you're calling your friends saying, go to the store and get a pair of shoes and hollow them out, stick some more ice in there, and then slap it back together, and then drop it off for me at Lighthouse, of all places, the place where you're supposed to be going to get off the stuff.
I ain't high, I'll tell you that, man. I don't feel nothing, man.
What about life on Guam has got you so unhappy that you've got to turn to ice? There are a couple of others, and again, take a look in the newspaper and look at the pictures of Linus Yun and Jennifer Mercado, who are a couple involved in crime, and their crime, which is kind of amazing to me, is trying to cash fake checks in mom and pop stores.
Did you see the last two digits of those checks?
No.
Both times, 64. Evidently, they feel like that's the magic number. 64 cents at the end of that check makes sure they won't even suspect it.
No, because it's a weird, random kind of payroll-looking number, right? Yeah, that was the amazing thing to me. Although I gotta say, why are mom and pop stores cashing checks of all places to take your dough? Why would a mom, if I was owning a mom and pop store and somebody came in with a check, I'd shoo them away with a broom. I can't tell you the last time I wrote out a check. Well, I can, but you don't want to know why. Mama-san said. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG Hagana, headquarters for Fox News Live in 5, 4,
3 on Bond. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The Full House star caught up in the massive college admissions fraud scheme in court today, out after paying $1 million.
Lori Loughlin and her husband stand accused of paying $500,000 in bribes to have their daughters designated as recruits to the crew team at the University of Southern California, even submitting a picture of one daughter on an indoor rowing machine, though the girls did not participate in crew. Others also faked a child's athletic prowess through phony photos. Court docs reveal one wealthy media executive paid bribes to have her son presented as a talented pole vaulter and her daughter as a tennis recruit.
Fox's Molly Line. The president taking action against Boeing as concerns grow over a new jet design.
President Trump following the lead of dozens of other countries and halting two of Boeing's newest aircraft models.
737 MAX will be grounded.
This follows the deadly crashes of an Ethiopian Airlines flight and a Lion Air accident in Indonesia.
Our hearts go out to all of those who lost loved ones.
Domestically, Southwest, American, and United all use the Boeing MAX 8 and 9, but company statements say those models make up less than 5% of their combined overall flights.
Fox's Tom Graham. Former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort gets additional jail time. A federal judge sentencing him today to 7.5 years in prison.
No sooner had this sentencing come down than the district attorney in Manhattan, New York, announced that they are charging Manafort with a slew of crimes for mortgage fraud, among other financial crimes that could add to several decades more.
Fox producer Jake Gibson. President Trump says he's telling Republican senators to vote how they feel good on a resolution opposing his national emergency declaration for border wall funding. But he adds that anybody going against border security is a bad vote. This is Fox News.
Shrimp and guacamole for Lent at Subway. The all-new shrimp and guacamole combines generous portions of whole shrimp and a spread of guacamole served on freshly baked bread, paired with vegetables cut fresh daily in restaurants and sauces that are sure to excite your taste buds. Hurry in, it's only available for a limited time. Other fresh Lenten flavors include the classic tuna or the mouth-watering greatness of our seafood sensation. Don't forget the Veggie Max, a delicious and tasty vegetarian patty. Visit any of our convenient locations today. At Subway, you make it what you want.
Attention homeowners, if you don't have a solar energy system on your roof from Micronesia Renewable Energy, now is the time to get one. MRE solar energy systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
Another Brexit deal rejected.
That was expected, as most analysts say a so-called hard Brexit would mean economic calamity for the UK, with disruption of the borders, trade, rules and regulations. But the motion was stronger than UK Prime Minister Theresa May wanted. And after the defeat of her withdrawal plan yesterday, the opposition was quick to pounce, claiming they could come up with a plan to satisfy the British vote in favor of Brexit.
Fox's Greg Palcon in London. The European Commission, meanwhile, warning Britain's parliament that voting against Brexit without a withdrawal deal in place isn't enough, and lawmakers must approve the deal, too. An official from the EU's executive branch telling the AP they've already reached a divorce deal with Prime Minister Theresa May and the House of Commons. A Connecticut man who had one of his last wishes fulfilled when he received a personal phone call from President Trump has died. Jay Barrett had been ill with cystic fibrosis. He was receiving care at the home of his sister, West Haven City Councilwoman Bridget Hosky. Last week, the president called him, telling him, "You're my kind of man." His sister saying the phone call meant everything to her brother. The Western Plains getting hit with severe winter weather.
It's snowing across parts of Colorado, but it's also quite windy.
We had an 80-mile-per-hour wind gust at Denver International.
Tens of thousands of people have lost power. National Weather Service meteorologist Jim Kalina says up to 2 inches of snow per hour were happening in certain areas. The storm was moving into Kansas and then up to Nebraska.
As the surface pressure drops very quickly, that kind of signals how strong the storm is.
He says the quicker the drop in pressure, the more likely the storm gets the terrifying bomb cyclone name, as it did in this case. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Alicia Keys has a memoir coming out. Flatiron Books announcing Keys' book called More Myself will be released November 5th through Oprah Winfrey's Oprah Book imprint. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by APL American President Limes is shipping your future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. You know, there's never been a better time to go solar. Guam Regional Medical City, first choice for all of your specialty care needs, and Kings, recognizing that this is the holy season of Advent. It is Lent. I said Advent like I knew what I was talking about, right? Clever, Gibson, clever. That's just my way of trying to get you to eat some seafood. It's good for you. And they've got a great lineup of seafood there. We got, you want fresh, right? You want fresh. You don't want anything that might have been frozen a couple of days ago or caught someplace so you can't pronounce. How about parrotfish? All right, they've got parrotfish over there. Might literally have been swimming on a reef around Guam just a few days ago. And so they'll cook that up fresh any way you like. You want it in a sandwich. You want it just fried up all by itself. They can do that for you over at King's for Lent.
The stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2019 as National Earth Month with the return of our Upcycle Mascot Showdown. We've invited the public elementary schools to set the example and build their school mascots completely out of recyclable material. Stay tuned to our stations to see how you can vote for your favorite school this April. Celebrate Earth Month with our students in the 2019 Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Brought to you by the Agana Shopping Center, Lolita Kamet from Remax Diamond Realty, Sylvan Learning Center, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting.
Hey, I know those guys. It's 6 after 9 o'clock in the morning. I also know the guys over at Cars Plus, Jen and Joey and Dunge, and all of the different ways they can put it together. And you might be wondering why they call it Cars Plus. You go up there to Mighty, make the investment, get up to Mighty, and frankly, that's where everything is going to be going anyway. We got another grocery store going up. There's going to be a Payless going up, and there's a KFC and a McDonald's. I mean, within walking distance from each other. So every once in a while, you know what I like to do is I like to take the ketchup from McDonald's and put it in the trays at KFC. Yeah, I'm that guy. But anyway, Cars Plus. Go up to that section of Route 8 and visit Cars Plus and find out why. Because you can get cars, and all kinds of cars too, and Jeeps, and they've got Harley Davidson and other motorcycle lines, and they've got some other real clever lines there that you might find useful, for a lot of businesses. And I talked to Dunge about that when you hit over at Cars Plus. And eventually, you're going to need to get some insurance for it. Our recommendation is Nanbo Insurance. They've got a great bundle-up plan that could save you like 50%, depending on how you do the mathematics on it. I'm not going to pretend to understand how insurance works. I'm familiar with the concept, but I know that there are ways that you can save a lot of money on your insurance. Call them at 477-9754. 477-9754. That's Nanbo Insurance. At 8 after 9, and the last guys I want to talk about right now are the people that take maybe the best care of me at the drive-thru, and that would be the team over at Wendy's. They've got 3 words: simple, clean, and honest. How about this for simple? Freshly chopped garden salad. How about this for clean? Wild-caught North Pacific cod fillet. I had one of those last night. And there's so much to love about this. The pickles. Oh, yeah. Big fillet of cod. It's huge. Not like a sliver of fish. And that's some great white meat. But it's the way they cook it up. They fry it in panko breadcrumbs. They could have used anything else, Chips Ahoy or whatever, some other cheap, just kind of dough it up and fry it, right? But they use panko breadcrumbs. That's Japanese bread. And so you get this great and other texture and bite. And swallow that down with the Honest Green Tea. Find that today at Wendy's.
Any speaker, anytime. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Friday where you are? Are you getting a little bit of Friday vibe here? I was originally distressed when I came in this morning and I pressed the button on Facebook Live and it didn't work. Oh, I don't know what to do. What happens if I'm not using the Facebook Live? And then I thought, wait a second, we're also on YouTube Live. And very similar features on YouTube Live. You can leave comments on YouTube Live anytime you want to, any day, 365 days a week. But the truth of the matter is I don't monitor YouTube Live for comments. I monitor Facebook Live. But I've found that it's funny to me because most of the same people that watch me on Facebook Live are also watching me on YouTube Live. And it's nice to see there's a couple of other names that I'm looking at here that I don't generally see on the Facebook Live that watch on YouTube Live. So it's nice to see kind of everybody all unified today. It's a happy accident with Facebook and Instagram. Features on WhatsApp aren't working either. I tried to send some pictures that I had taken through WhatsApp earlier today, and they wouldn't go through. The messages, no problem. I could get a message through to anybody, but the pictures I could not send, and I'm not sure that I can do that now. So I don't know. Oddly, I could send pictures through Messenger, and Gmail was still working. I don't know. So there are bits and pieces of that part of the social media that are messed up right now. But you'll always be able to find me, is the point. On the point. You'll always be able to find me. We have so many different ways that you can latch on. So if you just got just a radio, right? 93.3, point the antenna towards Channel 10 for the best reception. That's the promontory above Nimitz Hill. Channel 10, and because that's where we broadcast from, right in the top of the circular tower. That's where you need to point the antenna to make sure the antenna can see that for superior reception. If you can't see it, go to the HD3 channel. For those of you that have HD cars, and if you bought a car in 2018, there's a 50-50 chance you've got one. And take a look at the radio and put it on Boss 104. Boss 104 will come up, and then it'll go 1, 2, 3. It'll throw you 3 separate numbers, right? Channel 1 is Boss in digital, and it sounds great. Channel 2 is Boss Island, which is an island music station. And then we've got HD3. And that's where we put a digital version of this show and all of the shows on the point. And the best thing about that is what you can do here is if you just can't pick up 93.3, but you can't pick up 104, the HD is virtually receivable all over the island, right? Yeah. So you should be able to get that, which is a cool way of keeping it around. Now, there's the other ways that you can get us on different apps, right? We've got our own app. It's kind of an HTML5 app that you can get instructions on at thepoint.gu. You can watch the feed on thepoint.gu. You can watch it on the Guam Daily Post's website. If you are a fan of TuneIn, we are there. If you have Alexa, if you have one of those smart speakers in the house, and more of you do. I keep track of this kind of thing. I'm a laggard. I don't have one. But there are more and more people that listen to our stream on Alexa. And that number is growing faster than numbers for Apple receivers and and what do you say, like Android receivers. The number of people listening on those smart speaker devices is growing. And all you got to do, I'm told, I don't have one, laggard, is say, hey, Alexa, open up TuneIn and play KUSG. And it should be able to find us that way. I don't know how you what work the commands on Alexa, but hopefully it works that way. I was going to say, hey, Google, open up RedTube. But I'm not going to do that right now because my Hey Google might actually be listening. And sure enough, it was. Nothing. Don't turn it off. Turn everything off. No, don't go to that website. So say, sorry, I don't understand. Thank God. 9:13 in the morning, 888-8255. Rudy Magallanes found me on YouTube Live. Ray, no one called me regarding the story for my niece. Do you want me to call to tell you? No, I'll go ahead and take care of it. It's because I wasn't able to give anybody the number yesterday, but I'll work on getting that around to all of the usual people today. Pam Duvall, in reference to this Facebook, Instagram, whatever debacle on the web this morning, says, some people consider this failure of the World Wide Web. Oh, my God, plunged us into the dark ages. Read a book. Read a book. Or watch Ray live on YouTube.
Or talk to your neighbors at the table, like across each other, like face to face.
I don't know about that. Yes, Cousin Troy says, that frickin' works on Alexa. Yes, it does, Cousin Troy. Now, what trouble did you stir yesterday on the Facebook? I didn't get a notice that you were working on the thing yesterday. All right. What was I going to... with regard to that, read a book, tell a story, whatever. I saw something yesterday, and this is the way my mind works, right? It was just the gist of a headline, but somewhere on Twitter or somewhere in the world, and it was the idea, and maybe you saw the thing too. It was the idea that we need to teach our children how to be bored. You can play that back in your head. Oh, you went after Johnny Monster, John Muffness. Okay, I'll tune in later on to hear what you got to say about that. I
hope no birds were harmed in the
I hope
making
so
of his,
too. Yep. Okay. So the idea that we've raised children now in the era of iPads,
right,
and smartphones, and even the televisions now are smart. Used to be cable. You had to actually click, change the channel, click, change the channel, click, change the channel. Not anymore. It's all smart television. And my TV at the house has a gizmo for YouTube and Facebook and Hulu and just virtually every streaming service is out there, right? On my phone or my TV at the house. So I can literally go if I wanted to watch something on Hulu in the car while I'm driving. You got to listen fast because you never know what's going to come out my mouth. Literally go from the car and the Hulu experience to the smart screen and pick up where I left off.
Nice.
It is nice. I mean, it's very, very cool. But what happens when there's no electricity? What happens when the internet is down? What happens when those systems take a dump like some of them did today?
Yeah.
Right? And there might be kids that would tend to freak out, don't understand. Well, because it's the iPad. The thing is, it's the ghost in the machine, right? And not understanding the connections that need to be made between that and an internet provider and whatever. And I'm no doubt there have been times, because I got kids, no doubt there have been times where nothing's working. TV doesn't work. iPad needs charging. The phone, mom's on the phone. When the kids just sit back in a car, don't know what to do with themselves, don't know how to keep themselves occupied when they don't have a screen in front of them. So there will be a movement, mark my words, not too much longer from now, where we have groups of parents, just adults, that say it's not a question of weaning the kids off of the iPads and getting them away from the screens. It's not going to happen. That's where they live now. But we do need to instill in them a sense of what they can do when they hit the end of the internet. And that happens to me from time to time. You know, I wake up in the morning and I'll take a look at my Facebook feeds, my WhatsApp feeds, my Gmail, obviously, a couple of other things, and then get started for the day. because that's what come in overnight. At 10 o'clock this morning, because there are just a number of so many things I can watch at once, I'll go through the same process. I'll take a look at my personal Facebook feed, my WhatsApps, my Gmails, and see what came in over the 4 hours since I started the show. And then I go home and take a nap, and then I start the process all over again. And generally in the afternoon, I will get to a point where I've seen everything I'm going to see on my WhatsApp. I've seen everything I'm going to see on my Facebook and my Messenger. I've seen everything that I need to see in my Gmail. And when that happens, then I go to Twitter for the 20 minutes that I can stand being in the sewer that is Twitter. And then go, okay, I hit the end of the internet. What do I do now? Now, usually what happens at that point is it's too late for coffee, but too early for beer. So I've got to generally find something to do. And I've got stacks of reading materials. And so that's what I do. I plow through those. So when I'm away from my screens, when I'm not watching something, when I'm not doing something, that's my thing. And the theory now, again, is that's what we've got to teach our kids, is how to say, okay, I've hit the end. We're done. I've watched Ray Gibson on YouTube, and I watched Troy Torres. What did you do? John Muffness yesterday. When you did Marcel Camacho too, right? Okay, that one was interesting. That one was. They're all interesting, and unfortunately, they're all in a format that I can't play on television. I saw that somebody had a comment says, why isn't this on mainstream media? And the answer is because Troy uses words that mainstream media is not allowed to use, and takes on some individuals for whom mainstream media owners might be a little concerned about getting legal backlash on. Facebook, not necessarily the same issues, and that's all Troy and his deal. So therein is why you don't necessarily get those kinds of discussions. Yes, the FCC has certain things that they want you to say and don't want you to say. In 20 after 9 o'clock in the morning, 888-8255. That's 888-TALK. I have not gone completely over the table of contents this morning as much as I have looked at a couple of things. I'm sorry. It almost sounded like I was reaching for a barbell or something. I got to say, I got this thing at the very top of my table of contents today. I've shown you how I do the show, right? When I get in the morning, I go through all of the newspapers, all of the news articles, all of my mails, and see what I think are interesting things to talk about. And at the very top, you might be able to see where it says, "Attention, Josh Tenorio," right? You see there in the top of the page, "Attention, Josh Tenorio." You know why it says that? Because we need to send a note to Josh Tenorio, because before too much longer, there's gonna be another block party in Pleasure Island, and we have to make it clear to Josh Tenorio that there are certain activities that he should not necessarily be involved in at the block party. I think you know what I'm talking about, Josh. So just if somebody offers you a couple of cold ones, no, thank you. No, just try to come back with a funny joke. No, I'm sorry, I cannot take a couple of those cold beers from you because I've got a joint in the car. Something like that. Right. No, you know what? I got to do a line of cocaine later on. I can't necessarily. Just, it's just funny. It's not for real. But just, come up with a humorous way, because, people feel if you offer you a beer and you don't take it, they're all put out like that. But just be very, very careful, because there are going to be events and people are going to be watching you and making that comparison between this Lieutenant Governor administration and the last Lieutenant Governor administration. All right, so that's on the table of comments. The Doe moment over at the Guam Fire Department, where they realized that the device that sent every first responding agency, including the Coast Guard, Civil Defense, Department of Homeland Security, EOD, and EIEIO. Old MacDonald had a farm whose fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, EIEIO. That's why they kicked me out of kindergarten. But every alphabet agency on the island showed up at the Agate Marina the other day, and they went through this drama, this textbook drill, as Paul Tapau put it, only to discover later on that this possible ordinance that they found was not, in fact, ordinance. And somebody finally came up and said, oh, my God, you know what that is? That's a training device. That's a training tool for the fire department. And I'm going, oh, fire department was there at the thing. They were one of the agencies. How is it possible that between all of the guys that wear fire department uniforms, there wasn't one of them that said, oh, I know what that is. That's part of the training kit that we got from so-and-so a couple of years ago. Oh, that's not even a real phone. It's one of those fake phones, the display fake phones that they have in the stores.
You know, when I saw the picture, and I even said something on the air that was ultimately how it worked out. It just looked too clean. It didn't look like something that somebody had, like thrown together trying to blow something up. It looked like something that was there to look like something that someone may have put together to blow something up. It looked too proppish to me. Plus, why would you find it sitting on top of a trash can?
Right?
Yeah, the whole thing just seemed kind of
weird. Hey, do me a favor. I gotta note one of the things that you heard. My phone chimes sometimes when I'm on the radio, and a chime just came up, and it is from a friend of mine in the gasoline business, and he is writing me this morning that said Mobil jumped prices 15 cents. Are you getting that? Mobil has moved the price, so that's going to be what. $4 and $14.99. Is that where it is right now? Take a look at the gas station screens. If you've got to put gas in the car today, Shell and 76 right now still at $3.99. But my gas station buddy says Mobil has changed their price, increased. Ouch, 15 cents. I know. I can hear you. And so if you are on Eveready right now, if you're on fumes, my light's on. So go to Shell and 76. That's still $3.99. But if you don't wait too long, because some of those companies, I mean, it's just a question of sending somebody outside and fixing a sign, right?
At this point, I'm kind of glad my car broke down.
Well, not me, because I'm the guy that's doing the morning drive.
Gonna have to start pitching in, I guess.
So thanks very much, man. I appreciate you giving me the heads up on that. So you're hearing it first here on the radio. Go buy a Shell or a 76 and make sure that you get the gas price at the old rate. 888-8255, 888-8255. We were talking about the suspicious package. Hey, Ron.
Hey, good morning.
I got to say it that way. I got to say it in a quarter. Well, because otherwise I could do it the naughty way, right?
Yeah.
Man,
Yes.
that girl, she's looking at my suspicious package.
It's funny. They said, the fire department tried to put a spin on this and said, at least we got a training out of it, and I don't think it's kind of funny that they did that because that's a lot of resources that have to respond to that.
Oh, my God, the most expensive training mission. Well, not the most expensive one I've seen. The most expensive mission I've seen recently, and I don't want to be too negative about it because I was, frankly, me and everybody I know was impressed by it, was that flyby that the combined forces did at the end of Cope North. That's got to be the most expensive photo op in the history of taxpayer photo ops. But here we are with the guys from GPA or GFD, and like I said, they were there. I mean, how is it possible that not one of them would recognize it as a training tool?
And they're trying to put a spin and laugh about it, but a lot of people got inconvenienced with that. And if they had another emergency, a real emergency, and everybody's down there, I mean, it could have been catastrophic.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And, I'm just kind of for them to laugh about it and put a spin on it that lucky thing we did this and it's a training. I mean, we could say that for the people that called in fake bomb threats,
Right. No, there must have been some kind of. They wanted you to train some more.
Yeah, maybe it's a fireman that's calling in and wants us to train or something.
Oh yeah, we've heard about that before.
I'm just kind of shocked that this administration, I mean, they're really coming up with a lot of excuses. It's so early in their term. Look at the Grand Trinidad, where they came out and they mixed up each other. This said that and that said this. And then also with the body of the guard member that came in and they all dropped the ball. I mean, Just a bunch of excuses and, they're starting off on the wrong foot. I hope they get their stuff together and really,
knuckle down. There's too early in the administration for this many mistakes.
Yeah, they make a lot of promises, and I really want them to succeed, because they're already in there. But there's like they don't really know what they're doing. I mean, they really wanted it so bad, and they keep dropping the ball.
I hear you, and you know what? They listen there, and they're hearing you as well. They're hearing you as well. I mean, you're right. They've got there are certain places where we desperately need to get our act together. Had this been an actual emergency, right?
Yes.
All right.
It's just sad that we keep making excuses for people that are supposed to be responsible. Like Ray Kapostner said this, but the governor said that, and then the body of the guy that came in, and nobody met him.
And nobody met him at the airport. Aye.
That's sad, man. They kind of redo that kind of stuff. And I hope they make it up to that family and name a street or some building after that guy, because they kind of redo that, and I hope they make it up to that guy's family.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll find a way. I know the kind of people that Lou and Josh are, and I know that there's already been the expression of contrition, and I'm sure there will be more after that.
Yeah, hopefully that they, because...
But not everybody is that, and that's the point that I want you to underscore that I think you're trying to make, is not everybody is nice like Lou and Josh. I mean, they've got some people running around in the administration that are not quite ready for prime time, and those are the ones that we've got to look out for.
Yes, and I hope they make it up to that guy's family, because, even down at the legislature, didn't even really come out really hard and really go hard at apologizing to that guy's family. They're too busy with the gambling and all that, and they didn't really come out too hard for that incident, and I'm really saddened by that.
Gotcha. Ron, I'll talk to you pretty soon, Brett.
Okay, thank you, Ray.
Yes, Ben, nice to hear from you. 888-8255. This is 93.3 The Point, 9:30 in the morning, and that's a good time to pause and take the break real quick and just let you know that iConnect wants you. iConnect has got I was going to say iConnect has suspicious packages, but iConnect has special packages for 2019. They want to make there's all kinds of places. Be happy to sell you all kinds of technology and give you data rates that are just out of this world and price like that too. When all you go on is, I just want to do Facebook and WhatsApp and make a phone call and receive a phone call at a time. I don't need all of that. Well, listen, if you've simplified your telecommunications life and want to pay a simplified price, iConnect, 888-8888, or find them on the World Wide Web at iConnectGuam.com. The GCC Votech Class of 79 is back. Join them on April 27th at the Onward Beach Hotel for a night of dinner, dancing, skits, and reminiscing. It's been 40 years since graduation, so take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime chance to relive the memories. There's also a memorial mass on Friday, the 25th, at the Santa Teresita Church. Be there at 5:30 for candle placement in honor of classmates who've gone before. Tickets for the reunion on the 27th are on sale for $40 a person. For details, find Connie Kittigwas and Nicholas at 488-6108 or Kathy Diaz, 777-3243. Bebas 79ers.
If you have family or friends getting treatment right now at St. Luke's Medical Center in the Philippines, we want to connect with you. Hafaday, I'm Joe Guam. Thanks to our partners, we're bringing Mes Tsamoru to St. Luke's in Global City. I'll be playing a free show on March 29th from 2 to 4 p.m. in the St. Luke's Piano Lounge for all our Guamanians out there. All family members accompanying the patient are invited to join us, but seats are limited, so please tell your family to go to joeguam.com to register online and reserve your spot. This event is presented by Guam Windward Memorial. Special thanks to our affiliate partners, Stay Well Guam, Take Care Insurance, Guam Hearing Doctors, Lombard Health Eye Clinic, Guam Premier Outlets, and Coast 360. Our contributing partners, Moylan's Net Care and Data Management Resources. Our supporting partners, American Music, Fizz & Co., The Coconut Tree Company, Kadu Restaurant, and our promotional partner, The Point, Sidus Masids, and Biba Mes Tsamoru.
I'm proud to be a Guamanian, where America's day begins. And I can't forget the women and men who fought for my brown skin.
Studio time at 93.3. The Point is 9:32. My name is Ray, and we're in what I like to refer to as the small talk portion of the program. And the people that have been listening for a while already know that most of the show is actually small talk. You know, we get around to doing some news, and we'll hit a couple of issues and some of the newsmakers and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's just, ruminations of living here on Guam. There's this observations that I see. And now what I should have been doing while the commercials were playing there just a second ago, what I should have been doing was scanning over the vast piles of information and stories and story ideas and thought-provoking ideas that I have in front of me to bring to you the next 28, 27 minutes of the program to make sure that those were just supremely entertaining, informative, provocative. But I was on Facebook instead. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was thinking maybe I might be able to scare up a couple of stories here based on the paperwork that's in front of me. But no, I'm one of those guys. I'm addicted. I had to go and see what was on Facebook. I see if anybody was talking about me, right? See if there was somebody that was, that saw a picture of me and liked it. Valentine's like them. Valentine's like my pictures when I'm on Facebook. Would you? It's just, I'm sorry, it's a total ego stroke, but I'm big enough to admit that that's what it is. So if you see a picture of me on Facebook, and I know some of you are saying, oh, there's different women all the time. Shut up. You'd do it too if you could. Just Valentine's like those, if you don't mind. And look at them a lot, because I keep track of that kind of thing. It's a weird kind of scrapbooky thing going on in my head.
That's why I take pictures of clouds, because I'm still kind of doofy, and people would just laugh all the time.
That's not kind of doofy. That's all the way doofy. That's really I'm sorry, but we're going to get that taken care of. You can just see right there on the screen. We got the guys, Dr. Yangs, right?
Yeah, he's my guy.
Okay,
well, just waiting on the insurance.
Okay, we'll get through that. Note here that I got from Mike, who got from Kevin Riley over at the fire department.
Well, that's like the 3 degrees of Kevin Riley,
isn't it? I'm wondering why I didn't get up first myself. Anyway, it says the photo doesn't like me. The photo circulating on social media showing one of our personnel holding the device was taken at a private Christmas party as part of a gag skit put on by his crew members.
Have you seen that picture?
I did not see that picture. The failure of this training aid to be returned to property is the issue that we are looking at. And again, the proper accountability, storage, and disposal of our training aids. Now, I think when they say disposal, I don't think they mean throwing away. I think they mean like the disposition. Right. What is the disposition of that training aid? Did you put it away where it belongs, or did you leave it out on the trash bin at the Agate Marina to scare the hell out of everybody?
But just think. At the Christmas party this year, there was a fireman standing there going, I got a bomb, man.
We're not sure how the device ended up at the top of the bin after being thrown away with the trash, but regardless, it should not have been discarded without being properly dismantled. Okay. There's going to be an inquiry. There's going to be something. I had not seen that picture. If you've got it and it's traveling around on your social media, please do me a favor. 988-5874. 988-5874 is the telephone number. Right on. Okay. Sorry, that's business. 988-5874, and that was on my personal chat on Facebook. So. Where do we go now? 9:36 in the morning. I got to take care of this because these are pals. Discovering and sharing amazing gifts. That's the theme of the Down Syndrome Association of Guam. They've asked me to repeat this announcement a couple of times on the program. On Thursday, March 21st, that's next Thursday, the Down Syndrome Association of Guam joins the world in celebrating World Down Syndrome Day, a day to raise awareness about Down syndrome and create a single voice for advocating for the rights, inclusion, and well-being of individuals with Down syndrome. In commemoration of World Down Syndrome Day, the association here will celebrate a special mass at St. Jude's Church in Sinanya on March 20th at 7 o'clock. A prelude to the Mass will be a photo and art exhibit showcasing children and adults with Down syndrome, taking place on Sunday, March the 17th at 6 at the Agana Shopping Center. The exhibit will remain open through March 24th. An open invitation is extended to the public. Now, if you want information, it might be easier to get a hold of me, and then I'll put you in touch with Nakrina Mendiola, or just show up at any of the things I was talking about. St. Jude's Church, a Mass on the 20th at 7. and the exhibits that are going up on March 17th at 6 at the Agana Shopping Center. And again, they're going to be up there for an awful lot. Now, there's so many different ways and so many different parts of the spectrum there. And I think there's going to be some very interesting artwork that you see. But I'm going to put this in a place where I know I will have access to this paperwork again so I can read it to you. There's a couple of other things that are going. I see my buddy Nate Horn is online. And if you give me a couple of minutes, Nate, I might be able to find the PSA that you sent me. Nate works with Napa. And Napa is having a fundraiser here. Yeah, I don't know exactly where it is. It's in one of these massive piles. But is it yesterday's pile or is it today's pile? That is the question. Anyway, so they got a big deal that's going to be going on. It's not going to be at Napa. It's going to be someplace else. And I'll find it. Maybe after the next break, I'll comb through the materials and find it. But while I comb through the materials, it gives me a chance to see if there's any other stories that are interesting that I did not get a chance to get to. Just kind of random through the pile here. Trump's 2020. Hagatna Pool. What's that say? Likely to reopen soon. Hagatna Pool likely to reopen soon, says Park and Rec Director. The pool's leaks have been addressed. We just have to now comply with a couple of GWA requirements before we turn on the water. Once we fulfill the request from GWA, the pool will be up and running in no time. Where do you make that statement? Tuesday? So the question that I have is, what exactly do they want from the guys over at GWA? I think the thing that they've got to deal with the guys over at GWA is pay us our $500,000. You got that money? We need you to pay for what you have already used before we put more water in your shimming pool. All right, I found it, Nate. The basic details are as follows for the fundraiser that these guys are doing. This for the Cancer Society Relay. It's going to be Friday, March the 22nd. Okay, so next Friday, 6 to 10 at the Tsibugan Bar and Grill. What was the name of that place before it was Tsibugan? Do you remember? Before. It was the Chick Boy. That's what it was. Okay, so it's Tsibugan now. It used to be Chick Boy. And raise your hands if you know what fast food restaurant it was before it was Chick Boy. Can you do it? Can you do it? Do you understand?
Was it Dairy Queen?
It was not Dairy Queen. Sorry, you lose.
I wasn't here, so it was just a wild guess.
And very wild it was. The correct answer is, somebody knows, the correct answer is BK. Josephine Bloss, Major Josephine says BK. And I'll see if I can get like a prize for you one of these days for answering that question. It was a Burger King once upon a time. And you've heard the phrase Hamburger Highway.
Yes.
That's why it was called Hamburger Highway, because there was a Burger King there, and right next to that is the turn into that Hamburger Highway. Mm-hmm. And at the other end of the Hamburger Highway is
McDonald's.
That's right. So thus Hamburger Highway. Isn't that amazing? A little bit of Guam trivia there.
See, I thought it was called Hamburger Highway because it would turn your tires to hamburger as you drove on it.
You know, there's a little bit more work that needs to get done. That was one of those things where you were supposed to get Ray Tenorio reelected. Was letting him helm that whole reconstruction of the roadway from Marine Corps Drive all the way to the end. And I've been on that roadway, and it's nice that there are parts that are paved. But it's still kind of lousy.
Yeah, it is.
There's no sidewalks there. There's no curbs up in the area. It's just kind of a road. I mean, and for the amount of traffic that you would think they would have built it to withstand,
right.
is amazing, because we're coming in essentially. If you make that turn at Hamburger Highway, that's okay until you meet up with all of the other cars that are trying to come and go that were making the turn over at St. John's. Right? So there's a way that you can get to Hamburger Highway from St. John's, and there's boatloads of people that will use that cutoff there. And it goes kind of through this little tiny neighborhood, and just a little hamlet there. And I'm going, they should have built it wider. They should have made it so that it could accommodate more traffic and maybe put like a real intersection there.
Right, yeah. I think the reason they didn't is because the St. John's intersection is so close to it. But even so, yeah, they should have done something a little more there. And they may still, they got plenty of room on the frontage, both sides.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they could put in a couple more lanes, build some sidewalks. Maybe that's in the master plan. Not sure. Because once you get down towards the end there where it splits off, You get closer to McDonald's, then it gets kind of dicey in there as far as where they can actually go and things, and their power poles in the way and all sorts of things. Not much planning went into that.
942. Well, like I said, the what they wanted to do was just get lay down some asphalt and put a white line down the middle of it and say, hey, we got a new road. No, it's got new asphalt. The new road would have been lights and sidewalks and curbs and guardrails and that kind of thing. 942-888-8255. A couple of stories that I think are interesting from the National International BS file. A 116-year-old woman in Japan has been named the world's oldest person. I hope that's a distinction that I never get. Have you noticed they named somebody the world's oldest woman? It's a 116-year-old Japanese lady. And within a couple of weeks, she's going to die. That's usually the way it works.
Not before telling us that her secret is actually smoking one cigar and drinking a half pint of whiskey each day.
Young boys, there you go. It's a 116-year-old woman, the world's oldest person right now. And the punchline on at least one thing says that she's still not retiring from the NFL. There's a Powerball jackpot, and as of the other day, no one has come forward to win it. There's a winner. There is a winner. Wait. No, there is no winner from Saturday night's Powerball.
Okay.
There is no winner.
How much?
$448 million.
That's a good chunk.
Is that a record?
No, we just had one given away for $1.2 billion. The guy took the cash option for like $800 million.
Mm-hmm.
They finally came forward after like almost 3 months of being silent. And
yeah, because you need to figure out what my new name is going to be, so that none of my screwy relatives come and find me and try to get all of that stuff. All right, what else is going on here? What else is making headlines and news that I haven't yet talked about? That good news out of GVB. February numbers up 25% for the Japanese. Isn't that great? They still want to come to Guam. They don't want to pay a whole lot of money to come to Guam. So there's all these charters and deals that GVB has put together with the airlines to fill some chairs with people that otherwise would be going to Hawaii and Bali, places like that. But in this case, they find themselves coming here. So the good news is we've seen a 25% increase in the Japanese market, and my fingers are crossed that when we're done subsidizing the seats, when they're done with this seat subsidy plan that they have there, the numbers, when they stop paying people to fly to Guam, because that's what it sounds like they're doing, right? When they stop doing that, it will be able to pick up after itself. Like it's like priming a pump.
Yeah.
We just throw some money at these cheap seats, cheap sheets, okay. And then when they go back to the regular price, or when we stop subsidizing them, there's enough demand that has been built up, and enough, great stories about coming to Guam and goofing off here.
Yeah, in line with Dr. Rand's concerns, though, if the tourists don't stop getting robbed down in Lower Tumon, they're going to stop coming.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, there's probably going to be some of that. This is not the 60s, and it's not the 70s, where you got something like this that happens, and maybe everybody sees it in the newspaper, maybe everybody doesn't see it in the newspaper. No. But you tell somebody something bad about Guam on social media, and it will spread around like a cold in the family, and it will take forever to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. But to the degree that the place is safe, for the most part, I like to use that phrase, for the most part, I think Tumon is a relatively safe place for walking around. I will, from time to time, park the car over at one end of Tumon, and then just go pop my head into different places until I get over by the Hilton, turn around and go back, and pop my head into places on that side of the road, just to see what the activities are. And for I don't know that I've ever been accosted by anybody. Certainly run the area. They've got lights up there, so it's a little bit easier to see. And it's worth pointing out that in the case of those four, the quartet of crime that I was telling you about earlier, there were eyewitnesses, and there were people that leapt to the opportunity to provide assistance to the tourists. So yeah, I got ripped off on Guam. A bunch of kids came after me with a knife, and I had to give them money, but I got my money back, and the kids were are being brought to justice. Yeah. So, that's the back end of the story that we've got to pursue. More work needs to get done. There needs to get more people on the ground, maybe some uniformed personnel, maybe some undercover personnel, just walking around there, making sure that everybody is following the rules. Yeah, I know that's never going to happen. See, we got this law that was put in place years ago. It's the Hawking Law. Right? I know it sounds like something you do when you got to spit. Right. But they've got these hawkers out there, And the idea is, what it's originally designed to do, what the intent of the business is to have somebody stand outside with menus for or some kind of poster of whatever it is that goes on inside, and handing out flyers and things like that. And that wouldn't necessarily be a problem, if it was regulated, if it was controlled to a degree, but it's not. It's the same as the panhandlers on the streets. You get these guys, and they will work for a gun club or a strip joint or a gun club strip joint or whatever, is some weird thing that's going on in Tumon, which there's plenty of, and they dress like stolen cars, speak enough Japanese and Korean to be able to interact with our tourists. God help us, I have no idea what they're saying. Back when Tony Lamarena was running GVB, he had a bunch of people, Japanese people from Guam, go undercover, dressed like tourists, up and down the roadways to try to find out what it was that these people were hawking. And some of it was real eye openers to folks in the hospitality industry. But in my mind, they've completely given up on that. Anywhere around Pleasure Island, you got people that are standing around in front of some interesting establishments that are handing out all of this stuff. I think that's just as ugly as an unkept bathroom. Yeah. So I wish that somebody would do something about that. And you're talking about eliminating crime. We've got it right there. Nobody's enforcing any of the hawking laws that we've got down in Tumon. So it seems to me that they're probably not going to be doing too much more to make the place safe from muggers, other than more lights, more video cameras. That's another question. We got to have video cameras, more some kind of surveillance. We don't actually have to have video cameras. Just put the domes up.
Yeah, and make it conspicuous. I mean, like put a light over the dome saying, "Look,
yeah,
we're watching you. Have fun.
Big
Smile
security.
and wave."
This area has security cameras. This area has 10 security cameras. Can you see all 10? And just have people walk around and look. I don't know. I don't see 10. I see 4. And there might not even. It's the Vegas thing. You've heard this. You go to Vegas. You walk into Vegas, and every 3 feet in the ceiling is a dome, is a smoky dome. The big secret in Vegas is maybe only 10% of those domes have a camera in them. The rest of them are faux. But the thing is, only the hotel knows which ones don't have cameras in them. The employees don't know. The guys that run security in the hotels, they've got a pretty good idea of what it is. But nobody else does. So you mind yourself better if you know that there is a chance that you're going to get caught. Now, in the village, that doesn't necessarily work, and I'll tell you why. Because in most of the cases where I've seen videos of somebody breaking into somebody's house or parading around, going shopping in somebody's driveway, they know that there's a camera there, and what they'll do is they'll take their T-shirt and put it over their face and wear the glasses, so it's impossible to make some kind of positive idea of who they are. Anyway, so that's good news. GVB's got the numbers going up. There are a couple of other very interesting pieces in the table of contents that I've managed to completely gloss over this morning that I'm going to try to gloss in as the program continues after these.
At Guam Regional Medical City, it is our mission to become the island's premier choice for specialty care, like cardiology, pulmonology, neurosciences, orthopedics, oncology services, and more. We aim to protect our island from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and diabetic complications. But should you suffer from such diseases, we're ready with world-class options, both inpatient and outpatient. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
My pal Mo Evangelista on Facebook says Instagram is down. All the Instagram models are having a breakdown. That is a thing. No, it's a true thing. There's a thing. Instagram models. They actually exist. And the only reason why anybody pays any attention to them, it's the closest thing that they're going to have to fame is having 1,000 or 2 followers on Instagram, just because you're pretty. Oh, isn't that nice? 9:52 in the morning, 888-255-888-TALK. And see, I did it again. What was I supposed to be doing? I was supposed to be looking at the table of contents. I was supposed to be looking for entertaining, informative, provocative conversation to take me to the top of the hour newscast. What was I doing instead? Looking at Mo Evangelista's posting on Facebook. That's what I was doing. I was looking at that. I was looking at Mo's thing. Don't take that the wrong way. Oh, can I tell you one of the other things? I'm almost addicted to shopping on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah. You see all those sponsored things on Facebook, right?
I do see them. I'm just, yeah.
You've never bought anything from them?
No.
Okay, so I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a pair of those tactical pants coming in.
Did you? Nice.
What? It looks so adventurous. It got knee pads.
Yeah, they look cool.
Right? It looks like you can run through a stream. You can climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow until you find your dream in those tactical pants. I got them in khaki. Because I tell you what, I got I don't want to say hiking buddy, but I don't want to say what the rest of it is. But I got this guy, he's one of my buddies, and we see each other regularly, and we're probably going to see each other this weekend. And he goes hiking in what looked like the most uncomfortable tactical pants.
Wow.
But I've never seen him get a rip. I've never seen the stains stick to the pants. Same ones every weekend. We go out to some real ruddy places, and at the end of it, he looks like he's been through the battle, but the clothes stand up for it. Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe I can wear these when I go hiking with him as well. It's got place, because the other thing is that when I go hiking, I don't wear things that have a lot of pockets. They cover my legs from the swordgrass, but they don't have pockets in them. But it'd be cool to have something that's got pockets so I can bring my phone,
exactly,
keys, knife, gun, in case I run into a bear or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, there's that. 9:54. Some of the other things in the table of contents, Lady Busted for, already talked about that. There's a story I think it's the Daily Post. Kevin Kerrigan following the governor, lieutenant governor, and Roy Respicio around at the port yesterday. And you know what? Kevin's gone, so I won't be able to ask him the question. But there's a curious quote in here. Morale-boosting tour of Guam's port. Isn't that nice? The governor and the lieutenant governor show up over at the port of Guam, and magically, and now you can play the Heart Bliss. Magically, the morale of the employees at the port goes up. Isn't that nice? That's a special thing. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our first woman governor and our first openly bald governor coming by the port just to watch the operation and see our hardworking men and women of the port. And just that was enough to raise the morale. Respicio assured the workers that a 2-week shift schedule would be enforced. That means staggered work shifts would be cut down and more overtime will be paid. And I'm fuzzy on that one because I'm a manager that comes from a world of zero overtime. That's the most expensive price that I can pay for labor, is to have people working overtime. And we see a lot of that at the police department. We see a lot of that over at the Department of Corrections. And I'd asked Kevin about this, and he had an explanation that I'm not going to try to re-deliver on the radio today, but remind me tomorrow to ask him about that, because I don't, if it's earned overtime, if there is an emergency and we just have no other way to get out from under it, then I suppose that there is going to have to be some kind of overtime paid. Otherwise, if you know what, hire more people. Change out your shifts so that we don't incur overtime, because as I said, it's expensive to have overtime. And you're going, well, it's the port, it's Gov Guam, whatever. No, I am the ultimate end user of the port. Anything that makes it more expensive for the people that use the port to use the port, they're not going to pay. They will. They'll pay it, but they're going to take the delta and put that on the next bill that they send to the wholesalers. They're gonna pass that along to the retailers, and I'm gonna have to pay it when I buy whatever the gizmo is at the store. Now, I'm sure that's not what he meant. I'm pretty sure that's not what he meant, that they wanted to pay more overtime. But it's just the way the story was written, I suppose. I got to double check on. Remind me, Ken, to ask Kevin tomorrow, okay?
I will do that.
Make that a point. What's up?
Well, when you consider the fact that when you add up all the promises that have been made since January, we're knocking on $300 million in increases. So this morale-boosting overtime makes sense, especially when you consider how few ships we have coming in now. We're down to one line.
What?
Aren't we?
No, I got the American President Lines is working in the market. So is Matson.
Oh, that's right. American took over for Sea Train or whatever it was.
Horizon. It used to be Horizon was the second carrier. We lost them, and depending on who you talk to, the reason why we lost Horizon was because it was the China mainland run that they didn't have enough capacity. There weren't enough cans to put on the ships on that run, and so they couldn't maintain that. That meant that everything else from Shanghai port to the west coast of the United States fell away as well.
Well, I drive by the port a lot, and I don't see ships parked there all the time. So I'm trying to wrap my head around why we need to schedule more overtime.
Right. I mean, like so why would depending on how many ships we got coming in and how many cans we got, and are all three cranes cranking at the same time? What are the factors that go into determining what the capacity of the port is, and how we're going to mold our shift schedules to meet those requirements?
Well, it's just too bad they didn't go over, take a tour of the Supreme Court of Guam to raise the morale of taxpayers that they were going to fight this YTK settlement all the way through to the Supreme Court of the United States.
Yeah, Lou thinks that there's going to be a positive answer for us at the conclusion of the court case. We'll watch and see what happens.
Yes, we will.
Okay, buddy. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Don't forget to remind me to talk to Kevin about the overtime thing.
Will do.
You the man. I'll talk to you later. Wow. It's you know what? Tomorrow's Friday, guys. Where did this week go? Friday already? Well, that's the way it feels in my head. The radio station is KUSG Agotny. I want you to stand by for Fox News Live. For Michael Knight, Kevin Kerrigan, and Blake Watson, my name is Ray Gibson saying thanks so much for watching on YouTube Live this morning. We'll fiddle around with Facebook. We'll probably be back on with tomorrow morning. See you then.
I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Actress Lori Loughlin free in $1 million bond after appearing in federal court in Los Angeles. Prosecutors say she and her husband were part of a massive bribery scandal to get into prestigious colleges.
Dozens of wealthy parents funneled money to and through the mastermind of the scheme, William Rick Singer, 58 of California, who pled guilty to racketeering conspiracy.